Namaskaram everyone. Today I am going to talk about my journey from inner engineering to Samyama. So before I was introduced to inner engineering, at that time I was reading a lot of books. What I realized, all the good authors, they are advising for meditation. And when I came across so many recommendations through books, then I searched more into it, like what kind of meditation program will be more helpful for me, or what is something that I can do as a daily practice. So I was having a couple of options at that time. One was the Vipassana program, which is a 10-day residential program. Other was a program by Osho, and the third one was inner engineering. So out of these three programs that were available to me, there are more programs, but I was not more familiar with them. But I preferably choose these three to just figure out what is something that I can go for. So out of these three, I found 7-day inner engineering program is something that is doable, because after doing 3.5 hours of training in the morning, I can go for my work and continue my entire activities. So then I went for the registration for this program, and I registered for this program online. So finally, on 12th December, I significantly remember the date as well, when I was going for the first day of this program. So at that time, I went for the program. The very first day was very funny in terms of the discourse that was given by Sadhguru on that day. Made me realize what kind of nonsense I am doing. All the if you let's say if we are given list of nonsense activities, I came across those list, and I realized I'm doing all kind of nonsensical things. So that was something that was something as somebody showing you a mirror, what kind of things you're doing, and and I was thinking literally I'm doing such foolish things. So I laughed a lot on that day. So out of 3.5 hours on the very first day, for 2 hours at least, I was laughing and laughing. And then the program went on. We were initiated into Shambhavi practice, and the very first experience was something very powerful to me, and that is something that the people who are already initiated into it, they must be able to understand what I am trying to share. But it is something that you can experience only. It's not describable in words, how do you feel with that. And it's something I can just say it's very powerful. In the 7-day program, what I realized, my sleep quota was going down significantly. In the 7th day only, I felt it's gone down to at least from 7 to 8 hours to 5 to 6 hours, which was very good for me in terms of productivity. I thought if I'll just continue this practice, this will really help me out in maintaining good alertness throughout my day. I continued my practice, and in a span of about a month, my daytime sleepiness also gone. So that was again a very productive thing for me. The second program that I went for was Agmardana, which I did in Chhatarpur Center, Delhi. So, being a sports physiotherapist, I do intense exercise sometimes, but this was something for me that was oh, this is something very dynamic as well as very intense. So, I like that program, and I strongly recommend that program to all the athletes as well, because this is something that can give good abilities to all the athletes who are doing this kind of practice. Why particularly athletes? Because everybody can do it, but athletes, why I'm recommending, because this is something that you can learn and practice anywhere. Being an athlete, you need to travel here and there, and if you learn the practice, you can just do it on your own without staying dependent on any particular equipment. So that is something that I highly recommend to athletes who are doing intense physical sports. So Angbadma was very intense and very strong, and I really liked the program. And but somehow I was not able to continue Angbadana for a longer term. After about 5 to 6 months, I thought like if by practicing inner engineering Shambhavi Kriya, I'm able to gain some benefit. If I'm getting some benefit out of it, I must go for something more, like so that I can get more benefit out of that. So then I registered myself for Shoonya intensive program. In Shoonya intensive program, the intensity of the program is superb. Superb in terms of like by the end of second day, I felt maybe I'll not be able to complete the program. I just need to go away from here, and probably I'm not prepared enough for this program. But somehow I was able to manage the 4 days, and as we all know, like when we learn anything from from Isha, so we just need to practice the same thing twice for 40 days. This is called as mandala, so that the same learning is going in sync with the cycle of the body. So when I was already doing Shambhavi practice, and I learned Shunya intensive program practices, the time for me was going less in a day. So I was doing morning and evening practices, and on certain days I was not able to go home. I was literally staying in my clinic to just complete my practices, because by the time I was able to finish my work and my practices, it was already 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So that 40 days were relatively, I'll say, like it really needs time. It really needs time and attention to just continue with the practices. But when I was really doing it, I really felt like this is something beyond the silly expectation that I have out of meditation, and I need to do it with the best of my involvement and with the best of my abilities. I continued doing it. So the journey was going well. I was having some experiences which were very powerful after learning Shunya. So it was all going well, but somehow, like, I was thinking how much I'll learn, how will I continue these practices. The fitness was also getting better. So on one day, like, one of my friends said, like, I have some flight vouchers, so would you like to go somewhere and travel? And then I thought, like, probably this I can use for my next program, and I can go for Samyama or bhav spandana to just this will save some money as well, because I have flight vouchers. So then this was the first time I thought, like, I'll go for Samyama. And I realized, like, for Samyama, like, you really need to prepare and continue your practices for a good time. So I searched more about it, and the experiences that people have shared on the social media platforms, that was really inspiring. Like, this is something that and in one video it was it was mentioned by Sadhguru, like, we do open eye meditation in that. So I thought, like, if I learn this thing, open eye meditation, I can do my practice anytime I want. So that was another encouragement for me to prepare for Samyama. So mentally I was prepared that I'll go for Samyama, and I'll just go for the intense practices. I registered myself for Bhavasmana program, and then unfortunate incident happened in my life. My mother passed away. Then I cancelled my program, and that time was very tough for me. And my practices were also hampered for a couple of days. And but when I resumed my practices, I felt something different, which is difficult to explain. But at that time, I realized now I need to understand myself in a much better way, and I'll definitely go for Samyama. So then I registered for Samyama, and there is an interview for Samyama. Generally, like, whenever you apply for Samyama, because this is a program that happens once in a year by Sadhguru, and if you are fulfilling the criteria of the program and your interview is going fine, then only you can go for the program. So I applied for it, and then I went for bhav spandana in February. Bhav spandana was an emotional ride, and I realized like how intense it can be. And before that, I'll say like I was an individual like who thought like I just need to suppress my emotions. I just don't need to like be too emotional. But when I realized like the power of emotion, like how intense it can give you an experience, that was a very joyful ride for me in Bhav Spandana. So it's really a blessing that this kind of program is available, and I feel like I'm blessed to attend that program. And at the same time, I was preparing for Samyama. You need to do a lot of hatha yoga practices, so I learned Yogasana in between, and I was doing my hatha yoga practices and inner engineering Shambhavi practice and Shakti Chalan Kriya. So doing Shoonya properly. In between, like there are some days like when you feel like you're not motivated enough to continue your practices, or some things are not going well in your work or in your personal life. So somehow I thought like I think like I'm not ready for it. I should drop this idea. But a very good advice came from one of my client, that she said like meditation and all the kriyas that we do, they are not for the next day. Like it is for one day. Like if you are not feeling good today, it is not necessary that you will not feel good on the next day. So thank you, Swati, for keeping my motivation up at that time. And then I thought like yes, probably I'm ready. And while I was preparing for Samyama, different kind of experiences were there. Like even when I'm not doing anything, I was experiencing certain things which I used to feel only when I'm doing meditation. So finally the day came, and 3,000 participants were there in white uniform, and Sadhguru entered Adi Yogalayam, and then everything changed afterwards. So why I'm saying everything changed afterwards, my whole understanding of meditation changed after the program and during the program. Before the program, meditation was a process for me. Now everything that I do, I feel it's my personal experience and my understanding. So it's not like I'm not an absolute thing. It's something that whenever I do something with complete involvement, even if I'm reading, even if I'm doing my professional work, even if I'm just talking or preparing this video, so I get meditative experiences sometimes. When I'm not getting it, it doesn't mean like I'm not doing it with 100% involvement. But sometimes I feel like if I'm doing anything with my absolute involvement, meditative experiences are there. And as Guru says, like you don't do meditation, you live meditatively. So that is something that I am experienced nowadays after continuing my practices. And this is something that I am really thankful for, like what Sadhguru has really as if like he's opened a door for me, like, and many others, like this kind of dimension is available. Before Samyama, like I was under the impression like this is my 100%, and I do give my 100% for whatever I am doing. But during the Samyama, I realized what I am thinking as my 100% is not my 100%. My abilities are much more than what I feel, because I have not accessed those kind of dimensions. So there is a sudden flip that you experience after your 100%, and you experience an altered state, and and there you feel like you are not doing your 100%, like you are still just like in the beginning. So breaking that whole thing of like giving the 100% and is something I feel like those people like who are trying to prepare for Samyama, and if they are watching this video, is one thing that I can suggest, like just do your 100%. Just do your 100% during the program, during the preparation, and you will get there. You will get there for sure. So there are 3,000 participants approx during the program. All of them can have different experience. They do have different experience, and this is something that you will remember for your lifetime. And if you really have a thought of like doing something as an advanced meditation program, this is something that you should not miss. This is something, it's a lifetime opportunity. And but yes, if you are really preparing for it, I'll say like please prepare with absolute involvement. Don't miss your practices, your hatha yoga practices, your kriyas. Everything is of prime importance. Your diet is of prime importance. So just try to continue with the learnings that you have acquired in the inner engineering program or in other programs. And when you will go for Samyama, you will realize like all those things that you have done for it is 200% worth. So that's all from my side in this video. Please like our video, subscribe our YouTube channel. You can get some more videos regarding exercise, and if you have any questions, you can ask in the comment box. I'll be happy to answer your queries. Thank you. Have a good day.